Hi there, so today this is kind of a different type of video. It's proving that 0 equals 1. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I'm going to go through this proof or this solution, and I want to see if any of you can explain why I'm getting this result. So I'm going to kind of start with a simple kind of equation here. I'm just going to say negative 20 equals negative 20. Okay, and hopefully none of you would argue that, right? Negative 20, we're just saying it equals itself. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to say positive 16 minus 36, right? That's negative 20 equals 25 minus 45, right? Hopefully we're still all good there, right? Both sides, this is going to be negative 20, and this is also going to be negative 20. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well 16, that's a perfect square. I'm going to say that can just be written as 4 squared. 4 squared. And then 36 and 45, those are both multiples of 9. So I'm going to say that's the same as 4 times 9. 25 is equal to 5 squared, right? And then 45, that's equal to 5 times 9, so minus 5 times 9. Right, okay, that's all good so far. 4 squared, we're just going to say that, minus 4 times 9. Okay, and completing the square, we can just add 81 over 4. If you're not familiar with completing the square, that's okay. All you need to know is that on both sides we're adding the same thing, so we can be sure that we're not changing the value of the equation, right? Because if we were to cross out these two on both sides, we would just get what we had before. So just to recap, nothing weird going on. Negative 20 equals negative 20. This is negative 20, this is negative 20. We're not changing anything. We literally just squared a 4 to get 16, and we multiplied 4 by 9 to get 36, right? So the left side is all good. 25 minus 45 is negative 20. 5 squared is 25. 5 times 9 is 45. Then we just added the same thing on both sides, so obviously we didn't change the value of anything. Okay, hopefully all is good so far. And because we added 81 over 4 on both sides, we can say, well, 81 over 4, that's also a perfect square. So we can write that as plus 9 over 2, right, squared. Because if we were to square this would be 81 over 4. So let's do that on both sides. 9 over 2 squared. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, well, because we did differences of square, completing the square, we can factor this so we get a square. So notice that this is the same as 4 minus 9 over 2 times 4 minus 9 over 2. Because if we were to expand all this out, right, we'd get 4 squared there. We would get 4 times 9 over 2, and then, 9 over 2 times 4. Kind of combining those together, we would just get 4 times 9, because the over 2's would just become just 9, right? So we factored that, and we can do the same on the other side. We can say, okay, 5 minus 9 over 2 times 5 minus 9 over 2. And maybe you can see where this is going. Because we factored this into kind of two brackets of the same thing, right? Anything times itself is just that thing squared. So we can write the left side as 4 minus 9 over 2 squared to be equal to 5 minus 9 over 2 squared, right? And this is an equation, so if we take this kind of argument and we square it, and we take this argument and we square it, well, we're squaring both sides, so there's two ways you can think of it. You can think of it as just square rooting both sides, or just saying, well, we're raising both things to the power of 2, and if it's an equation, then what's on the inside must be equal. So 4 minus 9 over 2 must equal 5 minus 9 over 2. Okay, adding 9 over 2 on both sides, or just seeing that there's a negative 9 over 2 there, we can just ignore that and say 4 equals 5, and therefore subtracting 4 on both sides, this implies that 0 equals 1. Well, how does that happen? We started with negative 20, and we didn't change the value of anything on either side. We just kind of expressed negative 20 in a different way, right? We factored some stuff out. We added this 81 over 4 on both sides. We didn't do anything weird, yet we get 0 equals 1. So I'm curious to see if anyone can explain to me why that is. And yeah, just let me know in the comments or shoot me a message. I'll be curious to hear what you have to say about it. Thanks for listening.